Hey guys, and welcome back to Cornerstone Youth Markham's YouTube channel. My name is Sarah, and today I'm so excited to finish off our series called Free People, where through the book of James we're learning all about God's law, to love God and love others, and let that transform the way we live our lives and the way we see freedom. So we've been talking a lot in this series about rules. And there are countless rules that you have to follow, right? Like in school, don't run with scissors, or at home, be home before curfew, or laws, don't kill anyone. But our lives are also dictated by rules that we don't think about. For instance, the laws of nature, like gravity, cause and effect, or the passing of time. Or social rules, like don't be a jerk, don't point and stare, hold the door for someone who's walking in behind you. And moral rules, like don't be rude, don't lie, cheat, steal, all those things. In real life, there are consequences for breaking rules. You break a law, you face punishment. You try to break a law of nature, so like gravity, and you probably get injured. Or breaking rules that negatively impact others usually results in conflict. Have you ever had conflict with someone in authority? Maybe it was your parent, or a teacher, a mentor. Or have you ever had a conflict with a friend? Maybe over something with jealousy or miscommunication or hurt feelings. Have you ever been in conflict with someone this week? What about today? What about right now? Conflict is an unavoidable part of life, which is why we need to talk about it. So we need to know what to do when we're angry with someone because they've hurt us, and we need to know what to do when someone is upset with us because we've hurt them.
For the past 3 weeks on Half-Baked with Clarke, we've seen our hero struggle with rules. First, he dismissed them entirely and made up his own cookie recipe. Then he decided to shake things up by adding sriracha, and we all saw that end badly. And last week, he changed his mind and followed an actual cookie recipe. Which cookie do you think turned out the best? The one made without any rules, or the one made with them? Let's see what Clarke's taste tester has to say.
What's going on, party people? It's your friendly neighbor youth pastor, and as you know, I like to lay my life down for you guys. So when it came to this free food, I said, no, don't give it to any youth. Let me eat it. So thanks Clarke, made 2 batches of cookies. This first one here, he didn't follow a recipe. And then this second one here, he did follow the recipe. So I'm gonna start with this one here. I'm gonna eat this cookie that Clarke used absolutely no recipe for. All right, here it goes. Well, first of all, you saw that was kind of tough. But anyways. What? Okay. That was definitely an adventure. Not the best cookie I've had in my life. It was like tough, and I don't know, I tasted no flavor. Like it just was like you're just eating nothing, like cardboard or something. Okay, so now I'm gonna try this cookie. You already see that it looks better. It's, like it just looks like something that's gonna taste really good. Chocolate chips, here we go. Oh man, that's righteous. Thank you, Clarke. So I guess it makes more sense to follow the recipe than to not follow the recipe. Yo, the right rules will definitely help you. So if you have instructions or you know the right way to do something, do it. When it comes to baking and when it comes to life. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of these cookies. See you guys later.
Today we're going to see how breaking God's law often leads to conflict with each other. Now, if you need a refresher on what God's law is, it's found in Matthew, and Jesus told us that the greatest commandment is to love God and love others as we love ourselves. So let's go back to James. We've been talking about this guy for a long time now, every single week of this series. So let's see what you remember about him. Who was James' brother? What did James lead? What did he write? And what was James trying to do? Hopefully you answered all those questions correctly. If you didn't, you can go back and watch our previous 3 videos on this. But because James was leading a lot of people, you can be sure he helped his community resolve a lot of conflict. And when he did, you can be sure that he was working hard to advise them according to Jesus' law of love. We're going to read James 4 verses 1 to 3. Submit yourselves to God. What causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? You desire, but do not have, so you kill. You covet, but you cannot get what you want, so you quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God. When you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. Let's break down James's observations. So number 1, people had been fighting. This isn't really a surprise, right? People fight a lot. Disagreeing with someone doesn't necessarily mean you're not being loving, but many of our conflicts happen because we haven't loved others like we love ourselves. Number 2, selfishness and jealousy cause conflict. We can all be selfish sometimes. We want to get our way, be right, have what someone else has, or be the best, and those desires lead to conflict. But we can't love others and be jealous or selfish at the same time. Number 3, we scheme to get what we want. You and I may never have killed someone to get our way, but we've probably come up with a good scheme or two in order to get what we want. But we can't love others while manipulating, making demands, or pressuring people to get what we want. Number 4, our motives are often wrong. James reminds us that God does not honor selfish motives. If you're not getting what you want, even if you've been praying for it, maybe it's because you've been asking with selfish motives. Because we can't truly be loving while being self-serving. James is describing me-centered thinking. This is not what Jesus meant when he told us to love God and love others as ourselves. Now, this may sound strange for some of you to hear from church, but you are free to do whatever you'd like. Are you free to be selfish? Yes. Are you free to speak badly about others? Yes. Are you free to be judgmental? Yes. Are you free to be bitter, arrogant, unkind, resentful, impatient, cruel? Yes. Nothing you do will change God's love for you. But if you did these things, would you be fulfilling Jesus' law of love? No. We might think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But can you imagine the consequences? If you lived your life entirely for yourself, do you think you'd be happy? Do you think you'd be fulfilled? Do you think you would have meaningful relationships? Probably not. So what's the alternative to me-centered thinking? Maybe the best thing we can do is look to the one who gave us the law of love, because Jesus did not only teach us how to love through his words, but through his actions. So if we read 1 John 3 verse 16, we see this. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. Jesus chose to give up his freedom in 2 ways. Although he was God, he chose to humble himself by inhabiting a human body here on earth. And he chose to give up his own life, submitting to torture and death. And why did he do that? Because he loves us and he wanted us to be free. Through Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, Jesus gave us a freedom that we could have never gotten on our own. He gave us the freedom from sin and condemnation forever, and he gave us freedom to live a full and abundant life right now. Jesus freely gave up his freedom for you and me, and then he told us to do the same for each other. And that's the ironic thing about freedom. Free people give up their freedoms for others, not because they have to, but because they choose to in love. Keep in mind, putting others first does not mean you stop taking care of yourself. You'd be pretty unhealthy to do that. Jesus isn't calling us to make so many sacrifices that we become unhealthy. No, but I'm guessing that there are some sacrifices you can make for others that would help you move away from me-centered thinking and start living with more love. Just like Jesus gave up his freedoms in order to love you and I, there is something that we can do to sacrificially love each other just like Jesus loved us, especially people that we're fighting with. Free people give up their freedoms for others, not because they have to, but because they choose to in love. All right, friends, that brings us to the end of this episode. We've loved journeying with you through free people, really learning through James and through the life of Jesus what it means to be free. Thank you again to Clarke for hosting the Half-Baked segment. Did you guys love it like I did? If so, leave your comments down in the comment section below. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode, and follow us on our Instagram at Cornerstone Youth Markham to participate in more polls and questionnaires in the future. Okay, friends, we love you and are praying for you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!